What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Real Vegas Junkeez. I'm your host today, Brandon from Vegas. You already know. And today we have two very special guests. And by one of them, I mean extra special, because this dude is more handsome than any human being you've ever met. Today, we have Mandy and Sami, like mommy, I was so told. They are here to tell you guys everything about what the hell is wrong with your gut and why you're unhappy. In fact, you just educated me a few seconds ago on, I didn't know dopamine came straight from the gut.
Yes, dopamine and serotonin. 90% of your serotonin, your happy neurotransmitter, is produced in your gut. 50% of your dopamine, which is your motivation, produced in your gut, and 70% of your immune system is located in your gut. So guess what? If your gut's not functioning, you're gonna feel crappy.
Is that why I feel so crappy after eating McDonald's? I thought it was just the shame of being such a poor eater, but is it literally like killing me and making me unhappy to eat that food?
It is, but I'm gonna shame you for it.
Please shame me. I need it. I need it.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. It's the quality of, or lack thereof, the chemicals, the preservatives, things, GMO, like all of that stuff that you're putting in your gut, absolutely will throw off the gut diversity. And it's going to make you feel crappier because now your gut is not producing those happy neurotransmitters. It's not speaking to your brain that like, hey, I'm happy. It's literally like, oh, I'm like a sloth and I don't want to do anything.
And there's also a way that you can actually start creating addictions towards these not so good foods, because every single piece of food that you're eating, including McDonald's and Cheetos and all that stuff, they specifically feed a bacteria in your body. And when you stop eating that, the bacteria needs that same food to grow. So it's actually going to start telling your body, I need more of this stuff. So that's when you're actually going to start getting these fast food addictions until you can then kind of reverse that. And more you're eating actually healthy food, your body's going to start craving that more because of the microbiome and the bacteria that's been growing there.
You used a great word, addiction, right? Because people talk about all kinds of addiction, but food addiction, if I say, oh, I'm addicted to food, yeah, we all are, right? People always hit you with that. I grew up incredibly poor. And the only thing we had around us were convenience stores. We didn't really have like fresh organic foods, right? Yeah. So me, Cheetos was like a normal lunch. And now you're saying that is that why I can't cut it out as an adult? Because now my body has eaten it so much that I'm addicted to it? Like the bacteria are telling my body like I need more of this?
Yeah. Plus the overstimulated like palate that you have. Like you have copious amounts of salt and sugar and different additives that your body creates addictions towards. And it doesn't help when you go to a gas station and there's a bag of chips for $1 or a banana for $1. Like when you're starving, like you don't want that banana. You're like, I want to get that mega bag of chips.
Yeah,
so
of course.
The food is even incentivized for you to buy that crappy food.
As you guys who are clearly more educated on this than anybody I've ever met, why is that sensation so strong? When I eat broccoli, right, I feel good, but I don't like crave the broccoli. But I eat a bag of Cheetos and I'm like, I could literally eat 10 bags of this.
It's some of the chemicals in there. And just like, so get this, sugar has the same effect on the brain as cocaine does.
What?
Yes. Sugar has the exact same effect on the brain that cocaine does. They've done scans and studies. You're ready for the next one. Cheese has the same effect on the brain that morphine does.
Oh, is this why my girlfriend requests cheese every time it's...
Actually, cheese is one of the most, probably the most addictive foods because there is a chemical in there called glutamorphine that actually triggers your brain the same way that morphine does, and it creates an addiction just like the drug.
Yeah.
My fiance recently started the Manjaro thing, right? And she told me she could kick every craving. Every craving she had, she was able to kick it, but cheese. She's like, I literally wake up in the middle of the night and I just want cheese. Morphine.
Yeah.
That would explain. How did you guys learn about this? Because I'm telling you, I considered myself an educated person growing up. Went to college, took all my classes. I swear to God, I took health and never heard about any of this. Where did you guys pick this up along the way?
So I am a WBFF fitness pro. I won my pro card 12 years ago. And then I went on to the pro level, placed third in the world. But during that couple years that I was competing, I was on these very, very strict diets, right? Like broccoli. Broccoli and chicken is like my nemesis, or tilapia and asparagus. Like put that in front of me and I would rather starve. Okay. But for so many years, I was on these very, very strict diets, weighing my food. Like, I mean, that was an addiction. I had to bring my food scale to the restaurant and weigh the food and make sure, like, it was really bad.
Wow.
But not just my own addiction, it was because I reported to my coaches and that sort of thing. I needed my body to be 10% body fat when I stepped on that stage.
Sure, you were aiming for perfection.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which actually took a big toll on my mental health as well, like really unhealthy relationships with food. I was scared to eat certain things. But as a result of those strict diets, I developed a lot of digestive issues and sensitivities to foods that I would have on a daily basis: gluten, dairy, eggs, and even chicken. And my body started rejecting those foods. And so then I went to doctors, knew nothing, no offense to doctors, but doctors, you know how many, you honestly know how many semesters that they take of nutrition?
How many?
0.
Wait, doctors don't take nutrition classes?
No. No.
It's not required.
No.
It's a voluntary course.
It's an elective.
Is that why when I go to the doctor, their recommendation is always just more pills?
Yes,
is that why? Because they have no other
absolutely.
solution outside of that?
Yes, exactly. So they didn't have a clue what was going on with my gut. I fell over 5 days before one of my pro competitions. Sami and I were just started dating at the time. And I fell over in the gym, ended up going to the emergency room. I had a 4-pack, unfortunately not a 6-pack of abs, but I had a 4-pack. And I still looked like I was 6 months pregnant. And doctors, they were like, well, you're not allergic to anything. I'm like, look, I'm telling you something's wrong. I'm having these pains underneath my ribs. So at that point, I said, you know what, I'm going to just finish what I started. I stepped on stage 5 days later. I let my body be what it was, because at that point, I couldn't do much. But it was at that point that I realized, oh gosh, I didn't know I was going to get emotional, but him and my kids were in the audience screaming, and I realized what was most important to me. And it wasn't standing on that stage. The most important thing in the world to me was my health, because I love my family that much. So I decided the next week I signed up for holistic nutrition school, studied over 2,000 hours to learn about nutrition, gut health, how our bodies affect. And so that led into not only me healing my body, but also helping other people. And it just became this passion, and it's this hunger and this thirst to learn more. And how can I help people? How can I keep helping people?
Yeah. Can I, and not to grief eat, right? Because I don't want to dive into a moment of,
It's okay.
where, the Kleenex emotions, right? But what was it in that moment that made you emotional? Was it the thought that, like, you weren't going to get to see your family as much? Was it the thought that you've been striving to, you're top 3 in the world in being in shape? Was it the feeling that, like, everyone views you as healthy, but now you feel unhealthy? What was it in that moment that made you feel emotional?
Yeah, it was just a great question, because one of my competitions, I couldn't even move and step forward to get my pro card because I was so depleted and dehydrated that my body was cramping. I literally couldn't move. And I'm like, if I take a step, I'm going to fall. And so it looked like I wasn't coming forward to accept my pro card, but I was that unhealthy. And then it was just a couple months later that this other event happened. But I think it was me striving for that perfection, but I was paying a price. I was paying a price for my health. And then I had to really think about, as a mom, because she's now 19 and my son is 15, but I have a daughter. And what am I teaching my daughter about her body? What am I teaching my daughter about relationship with food, right? Like, what am I teaching my daughter, and what am I doing to myself that, do I really want my kids to see this? And there was one lesson that I really told them afterwards. I said, kids, listen, for me, that was like running a marathon and falling really close to the finish line. I knew I needed to stand on that stage and finish what I started, because I want you to learn that you finish what you start.
Yeah.
You don't quit. No matter how hard it gets, you don't quit. But at the same time, you take into account your health.
Sure.
You take into account, what are you doing to yourself and what prices are you paying for that? And for me, it was like in that moment, I remember walking off stage and I just lost it, because I realized the most important thing in the world was not standing on that stage. It was the people in the audience that I love and care about so much.
I can only imagine going through those feelings alone, let alone you have hundreds, if not thousands of people watching you, right? So there's an extra pressure from that side. Sami, from your perspective, how did you feel being in the, you know her, right? You know how she feels, you know the way she performs, you know the way she walks. How did you feel from the audience witnessing this happen? Like, what's going through your head?
Obviously, I was very proud, like first and foremost, because she has literally an attitude of like, no, I'm gonna finish what I started. So I already know she's gonna go through some emotions there and how important that is, and she's very hard on herself. So it's I know that she's breaking through some invisible barriers, even stepping there, when knowing that she just went through something very drastic, like going to emergency room like that. So from that point, I was proud, but obviously she looked amazing.
Yeah.
Still. So I was just happy that she was able to go through the process that she's been focusing on for the past 2-3 months.
Right. So it's a mixture of pride and like, I mean, you're worried about her, but you're also proud of her at the same time, right?
No, she's a tough cookie. So obviously I was worried.
Sure.
But I knew that, hey, she's gonna absolutely crush this. And I can't wait to tell her again how proud I was.
How proud of him, right? And how much does that help, right? Like doing it alone versus having somebody there who's proud of you no matter what. Your kids are proud of you no matter what. Is it comforting or is it extra motivation for you knowing that they're there, win or lose, they're proud of you?
That for me was probably the best gift, was knowing that win or lose, I have my family.
100%.
That was the biggest gift for me.
100%.
And hearing them and hearing my kids like, Mommy, and they had like signs and everything. I literally tried everything that I could. And get this was almost 10 years ago, and I'm still emotional because I remember that moment of standing on that stage and hearing them and seeing them, and I could pick them out. But knowing that the best gift was knowing how proud they were of me, no matter if I placed or not, no matter if I failed or succeeded, they were proud of me and they loved me unconditionally.
You're a winner in their eyes no matter what, right? But then that also makes you want to win more for them. You're a super competitive person, I can tell. No, I'm telling you, just from like, I can tell when people walk into the studio if they're just like, they want to be good, or if they're like competitive, they want to be the best. So you're a competitive person. Do you remember you said you finished third in the world. Do you remember who finished first and second?
I do remember Andrea Brazier finished first that year. Also, that was in fitness, but hold on. When I placed third in the world, let me rewind for a second. It was Lindsay Messina. She placed first, and this girl, Kelly Smith, placed second, and I was third. So, yes.
So you're going to remember those for the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right? Every competitive person I ever they always remember, like, I could have beat those two right there, right?
Yeah, but you know what? I felt so privileged to I did my first WBFF show, won my pro card that show. 3 months later, I went to the pros. 3 months, and I placed third in the world. Did I want to win? But you know what? I love Lindsay Messina. She's one of my girls. Like, she lives in Florida. We're still friends. Like, I love her. I'm so happy that she won. But what it did was, I'm like, if she can do it, I can do it.
I can do it. That's crazy that you, like, some of these people train their whole lives, and it seems like you were just like, I'm going to go kick some ass at this, and then you went up there and did it. Are the girls supportive? I know on the men's side, when I talk to male bodybuilders, male fitness people, they talk about how competitive it is. Everyone's trying to get like that leg up, and it can be real like cutthroat. Is it more friendly? Like when you went backstage and they could see you breaking down and crying, were they supportive of you?
Yes, very much so. Like, there is NPC, IFBB that I've heard there's some really mean, catty things that go on. Not where we were. That was part of the culture of the WBFF, is we support each other. We cheer each other on. And yes, it's friendly competition when we step on that stage, but at the same time, it's an honor for me to stand on the stage with those women, who've put in years and years and years of work. And we keep in touch. Like, it's supportive. Hey, let me fix this. Hey, girl, you need these earrings. Hey, you need this bracelet. Like, it's sisters. And that's how it is. And I love that. It's competition on the stage, but yet behind the scenes, it's really a close sisterhood. And, once you're in that family, you're in.
You're in. Well, speaking of family, everyone's going to want to know. How the hell did you two people meet? Like, where do super attractive, super fit people run? It's the gym, right? That's the only place for people to meet. Did you guys meet at the gym?
Yes, we did.
Victory! Let's go.
But we have two different versions of the story. It's kind of interesting.
I want your version of the story.
ahead.
I have found in these situations, now it's not 100%, right? We're not going to get in trouble here, but I have found that the guy's version of this story is closer to the truth. Where'd you guys meet?
Well, it actually, a lot of times it sounds better when she tells her side first, but I'm actually happy that I get to tell my side. So it was 10 years ago. It was here in Vegas locally at the City Athletic Club. That's not there anymore, but it was at the time the #1 gym. Like, we were both independent trainers, and I want to say all the top trainers in Vegas worked there. Mm-hmm. But neither one of us, we weren't a kind of people that we hang out there and just free time. We just went there, train our clients, and left, and just came back for the next clients. So at the time, I was, when we kind of first had any kind of interaction, I was filming a commercial for my sponsor. So it was a supplement sponsor, and Alex Ardenti, that was very, very well known in the fitness world and photography and videography. Mm-hmm. And at the time, I had a lot thicker accent. Like, Finnish people is known for thick accents. Okay.
I'm German. We know a thing or two about thick accents.
So I had this script that I had to memorize, all the facts and all the ways, and then I had to sound a little more American too. I just could not go in a full-on Arnold mode.
Sure.
And just like,
even though he looked like Arnold.
Yeah. So I was filming at the gym when the gym was still full on, like, trainers there, and so she walked behind the videographer, and secretly I just kind of been eyeballing her for a few weeks.
Yeah.
Not in the way, because I was coming out of from divorce, okay. So I was not like stalking anyone over there.
You were still a little wounded.
I didn't even know her name. Like, I just seen her in the at the gym, and so she walked behind the videographer, and my mind just went blank. Like, I forgot the script and everything, where I was going, and I just had this stare. I was like, oh, I don't want to sound or look stupid now. And then I completely lost my chain of thought, and I was like, okay, too late. I'm gonna look super, super stupid right now. So that's a bummer.
Right, and then you're like, I'm working on the script. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get this thing done.
I even the videographer asked, like, what happened? She didn't cut in the screen or anything. I was like, okay, let's do it again. And then she walked away. I was like, oh, dude, you look so stupid, probably.
You embarrassed yourself. So now you messed up the commercial, and you probably didn't make the best person.
So that was like cut number 3 or 4. So I was like, okay, let's go on cut number 7.
How do you remember this situation?
Okay. So I was training a client. Okay. And during the time of Olympia, the gym was always like packed with celebrity trainers and clients and these big, so there was models and photo shoots going on all over the place in that gym. Our gym was like the place for it. So I needed the neck pad for, the squat bar, right? So it was behind the videographer, and he was filming over there. So I literally tiptoe very quietly. I didn't want to interrupt anybody. I pick up the neck roll, and I walk, and I hear the videographer tell him, why did you stop? She didn't walk into frame. Now, I was a single mom at the time. Mm-hmm. I would go train my clients, leave. I was not interested in talking to anybody. I just went through a really ugly divorce. I was the least, and I already thought that guys in the gym have these big egos. Mm-hmm. And my biggest turnoff in the entire world is ego. And so I walk over there, and he stops talking, and I go back to my client, who happens to be my best friend now. And I'm like, oh my God, I walk into the corner of the gym and breathe his air, and he stopped talking. Like, that guy's so full of himself. And so we didn't know this. We never talked, did not know who he was, didn't care who he was. I just thought, this guy has an ego. Like, let me remember not to breathe near him, And so it wasn't until like 6 months later that we actually had a different interaction and saw each other differently.
So wait, this is like a movie. Mm. So on your side, she's so stunning to you. Mm. that you're literally forgetting your lines. Like, forget ego. Like, your ego has just been smushed, right? Whenever you're around a pretty girl and you can't think what to say, your ego just dies. Every man's been there. And on this side, you're like, oh, look at this guy. He doesn't even talk around me. So you're coming from two completely different points.
Yeah.
Those kind of miscommunications. But how did you guys get over that?
So months later, I saw him differently. And finally, I keep seeing him around the gym. Never knew the guy's name. And never even talked to him, said hi, nothing. Like, I was single mom, like, don't bother me. I'm, tough, protective mama. And so finally I asked one of the other trainers, I'm like, what is that guy's story? And he's like, oh man, he went through a really nasty divorce. And I can let him tell that part, but he's a really nice guy. And I'm like, oh. So I just started to see him differently. And then I see him a couple of days later make this post about City Athletic, and I commented on it. Now I figured out his name because the other trainer told me. So I'm kind of doing a little Facebook stalking.
Okay.
Want to know a little bit background on him.
Every girl Facebook stalks, man. This is the trick. We don't do this enough.
But I have to be honest. I'm like, who is this? I got to know more about this guy. And when he made that post, I commented, yeah, City Athletic has the best trainers. Well, then he messaged me. And I was in LA at the Fitness Expo for the supplement company at the time that I was a sponsor of.
Okay.
And so he messaged me and he's like, how's the Fit Expo? And I'm like, it's great. Wish you were here. Send. Oops. Crap. How do I unsend? And that
in your head, you're like, wish you were here. Yes, I'm in there.
No, I was just confused because I think when she commented on one of my posts, I saw that at the time, I think the most freshest were a guy that she briefly dated and a kid. So I thought it's a full-on family situation. So then I realized, like, oh, hey, hold on. There's no rings, there's no nothing. And I was like, And this is where I just learned her name as well.
Sure.
So
and he probably saw my Facebook too.
Are you guys telling me between that period, that 6-month period, between you seeing her and like freaking out and you seeing him, there was no interaction?
No.
You went sick, man. But then she finally gave that opening to shoot the shot, right?
Yeah. Well, the thing is that I was also going through a divorce.
Okay, so you were still...
I was not in the process of looking anything else. At the time, I was going through a situation with immigration attorneys, my divorce mediators, and realtors, and try to figure it out, am I going to stay in the country or not?
Realtors are the worst.
So, hey, well, I don't wish that you need to deal with any kind of immigration stuff either, but I was going through all this stress. So all I just wanted to do is just keep my head up above the water and just like, okay, work. Let's just focus on something that I have control over that I'm really good at.
Yeah.
And everything else, I'm just gonna let that pan out how it pans out. So, but when that interaction came in, and it started escalating very, very fast to a point that when she came back from that LA Fitness Expo, she actually asked, it's like, hey, do you want to go grab coffee? So we went and grabbed coffee one morning, and it was literally, it was a great moment because we both went on a table and we weren't there to impress each other. I was like, I'm just like, I have nothing to lose. I have nothing to gain. So I just went there and it's like, hey, here's what I went through. Here's what I learned about myself in a divorce process.
Yeah.
Here's who I am. And then she went exactly the same thing. So that started kind of breaking down with like, I'm actually talking to a real person over here. So it very, very quickly broke the ice between us, and we were able to get through a lot of levels.
Yeah.
To way that I think when a lot of people are having, getting into relationships and start dating, that going through those different levels takes sometimes weeks and months.
Yeah.
I think we compressed that time into a matter of days.
Oh, so it was one of those things where it was instant.
Yeah.
So even though we both came out from not so positive situation into that moment, but it also served us very well because it allowed us to just be raw ourselves.
As someone who comes from a military background, you guys bonded over the shared trauma that you had been through. You guys had both been through something recent, and it kind of allowed you to fast forward the parts of like, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite color? Right? You guys got right into the good stuff of who you really were.
Yeah.
How has being together helped you guys? Because now you guys are entrepreneurs. You've grown from fitness to business and everything in between. How has it helped as the partnership? What does he bring to the table that helps you guys grow?
Oh, I love that question. It created instant foundation, right? Like, we're not here to play games. And I was a single mom, like, look, I'm not here to play games. I don't want somebody in my life that's going to play games. So it really allowed us to be extremely transparent. And it felt like from that moment on, we saw the same visions, right? Like, we both we're gonna go, right? Like, we loved training and helping people. And so our big visions started to really align right away. And I feel like that added depth to our connection, because when you're in alignment, like, and have the common, right, like having commonalities, have things in common, have big dreams, same things, it's like, oh wow, this is a perfect fit. Now, what does he bring to the relationship? That man is my rock. He is my biggest fan, my biggest cheerleader. He calms me in the most stressful situations, not in a let's be rational. He listens to me. We've learned lots of communication. We've learned how our strengths and weaknesses working together that we didn't know when we first started dating. I mean, building a business and an empire together, you definitely learn a lot about each other. But he's so smart. He's so funny. And he's my rock and he's my hero. And I couldn't imagine not having my equal by my side.
Sure. I feel comfortable with this guy around. I'm like, nobody's breaking into this studio, man. Y'all don't want no piece of this man. If you can't see this man in here, trust me, this dude's like an oak tree around here. But I love that. You said the word foundation, which I think is beautiful, because that's what anybody who starts a business, anybody, you need that foundation. Yeah. And mine was the exact opposite. When I started doing real estate, I was already broke, and real estate made you broker. And my fiance was the rock. She provided that foundation for me to be like, okay, I didn't sell any houses this month. I need, thank you for providing that stability for me, right? Yeah. And now where is your business taking you? Now that you have your foundation, now that you have your rock, now that you have somebody who supports you 100% with that motivation, where is the business taking you?
Oh my gosh, completely different from personal training. I mean, we were both trainers in the gym 8 to 10 hours a day.
Damn.
And he had a job at night in the service industry. I would go home, be a single mom basically, because he worked every night except one a month. He had one night off a month. So I would go home, write hours and meal plans for our clients, run our online business. So we basically had 2 jobs. And we were both together, I mean, married, everything, burnout, broke, frustrated, but we knew that we had a passion to help people. We knew, we're meant for more. We're meant for more. We're just not in the right vehicle right now. And we had to figure it out. And then that's when, I believe everything comes at the right season and for a reason. And network marketing fell in our lap. At first, we were both like, no way, we're not doing this. But then we were like, you know what if we could make an extra $500 a month? What if we could make a couple thousand and then you can quit your job at night and be home with us every month, every single night of the month? And so it kind of started to take that road, but we had no idea that's where it was going to go. And now, I mean, we get to be home together. We work together. We're home together 24/7. We get to do so many other things, speak on stages with over 100,000 people on them. It's been such a blessing, and we've grown more, I would say, as individuals even in the last 6 years than I think we ever have prior to that. Just, I mean, communication, leadership, understanding what the grit and tenacity that we had, as being bodybuilders and fitness people, we use that determination and drive in our business. And so we've been very blessed on many levels of what we've been able to accomplish together. I don't know what season you're in your business or in your life, but there's always an opportunity for growth. There's always an opportunity to see a different perspective, but it's really up to us and how we see it. I've had winters in my life when I was a single mom about 10 years ago, raising those 2 beautiful children. I was divorced, and
my ex-husband at the time wasn't paying child support. So I had started my personal training business from scratch. And there were days that I dug in the cup holder in the console of my car to pull change out. And I had to decide, do I give it to my kids to have lunch at school? Or do I put it in my car for gas to get to work? And that winter season was really hard. But then there was the promise of the spring, where I met my amazing husband now. My soulmate, honestly, my twin flame. He had the same vision, the same passion, the same drive, the same work ethic that I did. And over the last 8+ years, we've worked side by side to build an empire and to create the life of our dreams.
That is so inspirational, because you said we were broke and we were grinding, but we were doing it together. Yeah. Right? Yeah. You guys had the same level of, you said you were looking for a partner to match you, and you found it.
Yeah, there's definitely times that we were in a point that we both had a lot of passion. We both had a lot of work ethic, but going into moments where you literally figure it out and you try to get the penny stats from your car and try to figure out how you're going to put enough gas in the car so you can go and train your client. Yeah. While simultaneously figure it out, what are we going to feed the kids tonight? So there are moments, and I think it's important to talk about those moments, and you should never forget those moments.
No.
Yes.
And but one of the biggest thing is, like, I don't like coach and personal trainer and everything else, but if I really want to kind of categorize myself or see what I want to do in the future, is reinvention coach. In a ways, because I've done personally so much stuff in my life. I mean, reinvented myself, not just physically, but mentally, first and foremost. Mm-hmm. But we both had that same passion and tenacity, meaning, like, no, we know the general direction, but the vehicle that we're gonna go in that general direction, that might change multiple times.
Yeah.
So we just took those same life lessons that we become very successful in creating our physical bodies and the business around it. We just took those lessons, principles, and core values and transformed them into every area of business. And that's when things started really, like, flowing. And I love that, like, she mentioned network marketing as my actually first motivation to get on board with that was superficially I said yes to her. I was like, yeah, let's do this. Let's make $1,000.
Because you're supportive. You're the most supportive man. Yeah.
But internally, I was literally thinking, I'm going to expose everyone. I'm going to expose this company. I'm going to expose all these people. I'm going to expose this industry. I'm going to get inside. I'm going to pick this apart.
Yeah.
And what ended up happening, I ended up exposing myself and just realized that I have a small mind, and that's why I have a small wallet. And once I started really thinking, like, hey, I need to do something that I never done before in order to get something that we never had before. So that became a business school. Like, it was literally like a Harvard business school for us, because we started learning those fundamental values of business and entrepreneurship in general.
Yeah.
Because most amount of entrepreneurship is conquering the challenges you have, learning to communicate with different kind of people, learning to solve problems, and that's exactly what we found. So not only we created a 10 million in revenue in our business in a very short amount of time, but we then started attracting people and different the mentors in our lives that allow us to then diversify a lot of our business.
You said something good. You said solve problems, right? So I'm a big fat guy, right? I just hired a personal trainer a few months ago. I'm grinding at the gym, but I need to fix my diet. He tells me, my diet, and I think most people listening and watching feel the same thing. They work out, but they eat like crap and they don't even know it. As we discussed earlier, our happiness comes from our stomach. Dopamine comes from our stomach. What is the solution to that? How do I go to the gym, but I want to feel better. I'm tired of being sad. I'm tired of being depressed. I'm finding out it all comes from my stomach. What is it that I can do to improve that? What's my solution? Now that I trust you guys completely with my entire life.
Go ahead, babe.
The biggest thing is just understand that there's not just one right thing. Like whenever we train clients, we use a lot of different methodologies and different kind of tools. There's no cookie cutter thing. Like, when people get into some sort of commitment with themselves, like, I'm gonna get into shape, They should never be about, I'm going to do full on keto, I'm going to do full on intermittent fasting. They only focus on the science, but there's no focus on the psychology of it. So that's when we train our clients, we understand it's like, okay, scientifically, this might be very, very effective for you.
Yeah.
But behavior-wise and psychology around this, it's not going to be sustainable for you. So that's going to be first aspect of it. Another one why we work in a mental wellness space right now, in a mental wellness specifically around mood and emotions, because we can write you down a perfect plan. I can write you a blueprint and show you the yellow brick road for a perfect diet. Mm-hmm. But what makes you not choosing that? It's your mood and emotions.
Sure.
So we all know, like, ultimately what's good and what's bad when it comes to eating. Why do we consciously know it's bad, but we still choose that? It's because what your biochemistry is telling you. Like, why are we sad? Why are we unhappy with our life and everything else?
It's the vicious cycle.
Exactly.
I eat poorly, which makes me fat.
Yeah.
And now I'm sad because I'm fat, so I eat poorly to make myself happy, which makes me fat, so I eat more, right?
Yeah,
It's that vicious cycle that you get stuck in.
And it's there's two different psychologies that goes into eating bad food. Well, the first thing is that when biochemistry is all whacked up, we end up craving bad food, crappy food. But it's also one thing that we use food as a reward. Like, why does, like, let's just say when you eat a cookie or you eat a brownie, it gets you often into that warm and fluffy feeling when your grandma used to make cookies.
Yeah.
So what we want to do is when we feel sad, we want to get into that warm and fluffy feeling again. And the taste of the cookie or brownie, we associate that when we were just safe and warm and cuddly with our family. So there's two different kind of addictions going on, the biochemical and biochemistry wise, but then those are the psychological addiction. And that's why we've been working on different solutions to get people out of that cycle so they can now start making better decisions and follow their plan that their trainers might have gave them.
And your solution is not just one thing, but it's behavioral, it's psychological, it's eating better, it's nutritional.
Yeah, because if we can change also the diversity in the gut, right? So when you eat crappy and you're talking about that and you feel sad and then you're like, okay, well, I'm going to eat some more just to make myself feel happy, but then you really feel more sad. It's throwing off the gut diversity, meaning the good bacteria, bad bacteria, and all the stuff that's in your gut. Well, if you don't have enough of the good bacteria in there, specific good bacteria, the neurotransmitters between your brain and your gut, because this and this literally is connected by this one big nerve called the vagus nerve. And so I'll even go back a little. When you were an embryo, when we were embryos, okay, our brain, we were cells, right? And our brain and our gut were one. And then as we grow into the fetus, they start to move apart. You've got your brain here and you've got your gut here. Well, it's still connected by this one nerve called the vagus nerve.
Real vagus nerve.
But it's spelled a little different, but yes. And it's the second biggest nerve next to the spinal cord. Okay. But it is a two-way highway communicating between your gut and your brain. Think about a two-way highway. And if you're clogging the gut, it is not communicating to your brain properly. Therefore, you have brain fog. If it's not communicating properly, also your brain does not tell your digestion to work. So again, it's a two-way highway. But how your gut is functioning determines your mood, it determines your cravings, it determines how patient you are, it determines how happy you are, how stressed you are, how patient of a spouse you are, how excited you are to go to work, go work out, follow the plan that your trainer gave you. All of that stems from your gut.
Damn. See, it's so little. Every time I feel like I learn something new, I realize how much more out there is to learn about this thing. So if someone's watching this, where's the best place for them to start to get educated on something like this? Is it just to follow you guys, watch you guys, engage with you guys?
Let's just say that it's not an easy process. It takes commitment. We're a big fan of hiring mentors. We're a huge fan because what you can do, you can go read a study. And one thing that I got my degrees are in the past in exercise science and nutrition. They're between kind of like bachelor's and master's. It's a slightly different system in Finland. So even our professor said that once you've done with this course, you do not know everything. This nutrition basically degree allows you to have foundation of reading other studies because science is constantly evolving. So if you don't have time and tenacity to constantly stay up to date and just kind of learn, see kind of through the gray area and the fine prints of different studies of what's most beneficial and understand the psychology behind it, then I recommend to hire a someone who knows what they're doing.
A coach,
so once
a
again,
mentor.
it's a hack. It's you save ultimately time, energy, and money when you hire a mentor.
Yes, yes. I did it with everything in my life, from marketing to personal training to real estate, and it's been a huge boom. Me, like probably billions of other people, never thought to hire a mentor or a coach for our well-being and our health, right?
Yeah, most people don't. They wait to do reaction, right? Like when they get unhealthy, let me go to the doctor. When they, have this disease or this disease pop up, then I'll go take care of it.
Yeah, it's reactionary instead
Exactly.
of
Proactive.
Proactive, right? Hey, do you guys have time before we get out of here? Because I swear to God, dude, I could talk to you guys for the next 3 hours. I have 10 more topics I want to pick you guys' brain on. It's not just because you're both really good looking. You guys are both smart and really good looking. Rapid fire Vegas questions. Okay. You guys have talked about how healthy you are, how professional you are. I want to get a little Vegas. Favorite cheat meal in Vegas for you?
Oh.
If you're going to have one cheat meal, right? Maybe it's once per year, maybe it's once every couple of years. Where would you go in Vegas to have it could be small, big, whatever.
Yikes. That's a really good question. If it's on the fast food, Raising Cane's.
That girl, that cane sauce is addictive.
Yeah, the cane sauce. I'm a Louisiana girl, so that cane sauce is just like stuff we have
right
back
up your
home,
alley.
So, yeah.
Oh my God. And you, what's your Vegas cheat meal? Is it a steak? You seem like a steak man.
I'm a steak guy, but when it comes to cheats, yesterday I cooked some New York strips at home and some lobster mac and cheese.
Wait, this guy cooks?
Oh gosh,
This,
it's so
hold
sexy.
on. Does he do it naked?
I wish, but he doesn't have to.
Wait, you cook?
Yes.
You are a high performance trainer.
Yeah.
Military background. Trained other policemen. You can train people for their health. You're smart. You're ready. What does this guy not fucking do? Excuse my language. Jesus
don't
Christ.
know. I haven't figured it out yet, honestly. 10 years.
It's not fair that you're this handsome and this good at many things. This is just bullshit. That's not right.
Yeah.
No, but like steak and mac and cheese is absolutely good. But if you want a more casual, I'm a burger guy. I'm burger and sweet potato fries that's my go-to.
So are you if you're going out for a guilty pleasure meal, is it McDonald's burger, Burger King?
No,
What's your
No,
never fast food, never fast food.
No.
So probably the closest thing to fast food and a good burger would be probably smash burger.
Smash burger, okay.
I love smash burger, but more like just a craft burgers, like a little better quality.
Yeah.
A lot of cheese, a lot of grilled onions, like the works.
All the fixings, right? If you're gonna have a cheat meal, you're gonna earn it, right?
Absolutely.
Man, hey, thank you guys for the great conversation. Honestly, and I mean this from the bottom of my soul. I could have talked to you guys for another 3 hours. Honestly, about your relationship, which I'm completely fascinated in how super attractive people meet each other. I think that's the best conversation ever. But just for your education, I needed this. I honestly needed the motivation. Like a lot of people out there. So where can people reach you guys? How can we keep following your journey, your success, your story?
Yeah, I'm on both Facebook and Instagram as Mandy White Eskelin. Yes, I kept my name once we got married, but my whole fitness brand was Mandy White. So I just added his name on there, but Mandy White Eskelin is I said Mandy White Fitness? I did say that, didn't I? No, it's Mandy White Eskelin. Yeah, I don't know why I said that. But Mandy White Eskelin on both Facebook and Instagram. And you know what? If you message me, it's really me. It's not a bot responding to you. It's not a virtual assistant. I really care and I love to connect with people, and I love that we have an amazing community here in Vegas. So listen, message me. I will respond. You have questions. I will make my best professional recommendation. I do a lot of reels and information on gut health and the gut-brain connection and mental wellness because that really is our passion. If we can fix how somebody feels, they're going to feel more motivated. They're going to want to go out and work out. They're going to choose different. They're going to be a better mom. They're going to be a more patient spouse. So when we can fix that mental wellness through the gut, it'll change someone's life. And so reach out to me. I'm happy to connect.
I think you guys have a lot of things to teach the world, not just about fitness, but about how to make a relationship work, how to grow with people together, how to build a business together. I honestly think in a world right now where people are having harder and harder times to stay together, I think you guys have created a really beautiful blueprint for this. And I think it's amazing. I do.
Thank you.
Handsome sir, where do they reach you?
Probably best way to reach is probably Facebook.
Facebook?
Sami Eskelin. I don't think there's any more fake accounts, not that I know of anymore.
You're
there probably used to be.
You're probably a bunch of people's fake profile on when they catfish people, they probably just use your face. Like, yeah, this is what I really look like.
There's some memes with his picture on it we've found over the years.
Oh, I bet, right? Like, if I was going on a dating profile, I would just pretend to be you and be like, hey, ladies, this is what I'm bringing to the table.
Yeah, there used to be a lot more, like Sam, like all different variations of my last name, my first name, but the Facebook is probably the best way to do it. We are building our brand together. It's going to be a Project Elevate, because we want to offer people, like Mandy said, a community where they can better themselves, no matter what's physically, mentally, or financially. And in what we've seen in our past, whether we work just people's physical bodies, we understand the best results that you get on one area when you focus on all areas. And obviously you can be hyper focused on one aspect of your life, but you should not neglect the other areas of life, including relationship, your finances, because they're all interconnected.
Yep.
So, but yeah, we're building a brand around that, and it's going to be Project Elevate. But Facebook, personally for me, Sami Eskelin, it's the best way to reach me out.
Perfect, man. Hey, thank you guys for your time. This was a great interaction. I couldn't have been more proud to be here. I'm Brandon from Vegas. You can honestly just throw Brandon from Vegas into Google. All the annoying stuff will pop up, TikTok, Instagram, all that stuff. We'll be back again next week with Real Vegas Junkeez. I don't think we're ever going to have a more attractive group of people in here, so enjoy this, because it's all downhill from here. Hey, thank you guys for your time. This has been a great one.